Okay. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Karen Golden, and I'm sitting in my home right now in Los Angeles, California, and it is 8:03 p.m. And I am delighted to be able to spend my evening with all of you talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is music. I am both a storyteller and a musician. I play a lot of different instruments that you're going to be able to hear this evening, and I also add music to my storytelling. I've been a professional storyteller for 35 years. It's a long time. And I started as a musician. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I discovered storytelling as an art form beyond telling the occasional story at my dinner table that I told as a kid growing up. So I started playing music very young. And when I started doing my storytelling, I wanted to figure out a way that I could combine stories and music together. And it's an ever evolving thing. And first of all, before we start, and I know that most of you have your cameras off, but if you can use the chat feature, if you could let me know if you play a musical instrument right now. So, do you play an instrument? Do you play piano? It doesn't matter how well you play. That doesn't matter. So, do you play an instrument? And if you would like to unmute, you could unmute and tell me. And if you would prefer to not have me see your pajamas, even though I mentioned to you that I am half wearing pajamas now, you can write in the chat. You can write if you play a musical instrument, and also maybe let me know where you are right now, because that will help me to picture all of you throughout the world. So, could you please write in the chat? Okay, so Raina, would you like to unmute and tell me what instrument do you play?
Yes, I play the harmonica, Karen.
Awesome, great. Anyone else like to unmute and say the instrument they play? Okay, so this might be a harder question. How many of you already are playing music or singing with your storytelling?
I'm doing it. This is Shravitya. So I start my telling with a tune, but I don't play
Okay.
any music instrument. I'm so looking forward to your workshop, Karen. Thank you.
Okay, great. So you are exploring using music in your stories, but some of you are saying you don't play a musical instrument yet. That is fine because I'm going to introduce you to some musical instruments that I see are absolute beginner in the Indian string instrument. Okay, so for those of you who have never played music ever, 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 I am going to show you some musical instruments that I use that you don't need any lessons on. They're very easy to play, and they give a wonderful texture to stories. So we are going to get started. So first of all, I want to tell you that I am going to be putting on the original sound for musicians. What this means is that if you would like to talk, then please raise your hand. I will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. You'll unmute yourself. And I will need to turn off the original sound for musicians because if you try to talk, you'll have an echo on your end. Okay? So I'm going to turn this on so that we can hear. Let's see here. Original sound for musicians. All right. Because if I don't turn this on my computer, and this is something for all of you to know if you do a Zoom show, that you must turn on original sound for musicians. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear the musical sounds. Okay. So I'm going to show you some instruments. All right. So the first instrument I'm going to show you is an instrument. Oop, it just got caught here. Just 1 second here. Oh dear. I have a little technical difficulty. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. My instruments got tangled. Oh dear. Oh no. Okay, here. Whoops. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, here we go. All right. So, this is an instrument that is a huge crowd pleaser. every time I do a show, I try to figure out a story that has a rainstorm in it. This is for two reasons. One, I love this instrument. And two, I live in Southern California, where we frequently have drought and trouble with rain. And you know, the more you tell rain stories, the more it might rain. So I like to include at least one rain story in every show that I do. So this musical instrument comes from Argentina. You can find these all over the world. It's called a thunder maker. And I'm going to make the sound of thunder right now. And this instrument is the sound of rain. Now, if you don't have an instrument like this, it's very easy to make one. You just need to string together. Take a look closely. These are just seeds. This instrument comes from Peru. And if you don't want to string seeds together, you can just have everyone make a rainstorm by clicking their fingers and clapping their hands. But this is my rainstorm. And when I play this instrument, the room goes silent. So very easy to play. And you might be wondering how it works. It is made out of a gourd. It has a hole in it. It makes an echo chamber. There's a leather strip on the bottom, and the spring makes an echo inside of here, and that's what gives this beautiful sound. So, of course, if we have a rainstorm, then we need to bring up the sunshine. And this is another instrument I play in almost every show. This instrument I frequently start my performance with because it gives a feeling. So sometimes an instrument can be part of a story or it can give a feeling. Now, I always use this instrument to make the sound of the sun. So when I play it, this is a singing bowl. Then if I'm performing for children, I'll say, when you hear this instrument, you're going to sing, I shine. Now, we won't be able to hear all of your voices, but you can sing with me, okay? In your own house. Okay, so here we go. I shine. This is another instrument that brings an audience together just from the beautiful sound of the singing bowl. This instrument comes from Tibet. It's called a Tibetan singing bowl, but I'm sure that you can find these in India. I know you can find them in the United States, the singing bowl. So here we go. Sound of the sunshine, or a sound just to get an audience to start listening. This is another instrument that I'm very happy to have. This instrument belonged to the late Angela Lloyd. Some of you may have known her. She was a brilliant storyteller, very dear friend of mine. She passed away last year suddenly, and she and I performed together for over 14 years. And this is an instrument that she frequently played. And if you would like, I'm not going to tell you what the feeling that I get from the instrument, but if you would like to write in the chat what kind of feeling you get when you hear this sound. Ramya said magical. That's exactly what I think of this instrument. Again, another instrument that you need no lessons to play. It's called a spinning bell. So if I'm telling a story that has a magical moment in it, a story, perhaps a fairy just came on the scene, and along came the fairy. Whoops, played the wrong part. Here we go. Could you just see the fairy flying down? Yeah, okay. I thought you would, because I know that when I play this, the fairies come out in mass. So another instrument that requires no skill to play is the thumb piano. And this instrument comes from Africa. Some of you may know the instrument. There's a few stories that I tell that actually have the instrument as part of the story. If you have heard of the story of the singing tortoise, it's an African story, and it's the story about the man who finds the tortoise in the jungle, and the tortoise is singing, and the tortoise is actually playing this instrument. And when the tortoise sings this song. A promise is a promise. What goes around comes around. And the tortoise plays this instrument. And then the story goes on. It's about the man who finds the tortoise. He asks the tortoise to come back to his village and sing to him. And the tortoise says, "But you must promise to never tell anyone you have the singing tortoise." And of course, we know what happens. He tells somebody, and that's what the tension in the story is. But the tortoise actually plays this instrument. It also gives a nice magical sound. So if you want to focus an audience, especially if you're telling stories to children, or I can tell you also telling stories to seniors. Yesterday, I told stories to a group of seniors at a home seniors, and I started my performance with this audience, and everyone was just on edge listening. So I think this is a beautiful sound for anyone. This is called the thumb piano or the kalimba. Another instrument that is very easy to play, again, requires no lessons. This instrument is the frog. So whenever I have a frog in a story, I always play this instrument along with talking about the frog. It just gives another dimension to the character in the story. So how many of you know that story, The Big Mouth Frog? You can put in the chat. Oh, good. Renu has most of these instruments. Yay! Awesome. Okay. So this, when I tell the story of the big mouth frog, I made up a little song. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk about how to add a song to a story. But I sing this song. I am a big mouth frog, that goon. I am a big mouth frog, that goon. I am a big mouth frog, that goon. And I eat flies, I eat flies, I eat flies. Delicious. So this instrument makes that nice frog sound.
Karen, could you please put that song in the chat, please?
I'm sorry? Can I write the words in the chat? I didn't hear what you said. Okay. Could I put the song in the chat, please? Right now, I can't type at the same time, so the words they're very simple. I made up this song. It's just I am a big mouth frog. I am a big mouth frog. I am a big mouth frog, and I eat flies. I eat flies. I eat flies. Bzzz. That's the whole song. So none of my songs have complex lyrics, and we're going to talk about that. How to create a song that is a very simple song. Okay, so some of you have said that you have these instruments. Okay, I'm going to show you another instrument that requires no lessons to play. This is a family of instruments called the ocarina, and when I have birds in a story, and this is usually the way the birds sound in my stories. And then I have, oh dear. Oh, here you are back here. This is a big ocarina, and this sounds like the wind. And again, this requires no lessons. You literally just put your fingers on the holes and you move them. And if you want to add a vibrato, you can go ha 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 ha. And it sounds kind of fancy. So many of my stories have the wind in them. Or if I'm telling a story that's a little bit scary, I might start the story with ooh, Rachel, you would like to demo your frog making sound. Oh, would you like to do that? Go for it. Rachel, you're unmuted. Go for it.
Oh,
Sorry, just a second. Unmuted now?
No, no, you're unmuted. So if you'd like to make the sound of your frog.
Can you hear me?
No, because you would have to put on original sound for musicians.
Okay, I don't even know where that would be.
Okay, so it's unfortunately we're not going to be able to hear you most probably.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's like a technical thing with Zoom. But I could see you making the frog sound, so that's good. Okay, so we've now I've demonstrated instruments that are very simple to play, and they add wonderful texture to a story, a musical texture. So I'd like to talk now about how to add songs to stories. How many of you are already adding songs to your stories? Great. So one way of adding songs, and this is what I do, I am no great songwriter, I can tell you that. I know a few chords at best. But when I add a song to a story, I usually take a few words from the story and I sing those words. So Reno, you're nodding your head. Mabel, is that what you do as well? You sing some of the words to the story. So that's exactly what I do. So some of you may be thinking, how do I come up with a melody for those words? Well, frequently I borrow melodies that I already know. Shh, don't tell anybody that I'm borrowing those melodies. But that's exactly what I do. So I'm going to give you an example of some of the melodies that I've borrowed. So there's a story that I tell. It's called The Sandpiper and the Whale. How many of you know that story? Okay, so you know that the sandpiper is coming to the edge of the ocean and the whale is coming to the edge of the ocean, and the two of them get into an argument and they each say, the ocean is mine, the ocean is mine. And the sandpiper says, I'm going to go and call all the birds in the sky. And the whale says, I am going to call all the creatures from the sea, and we will meet here in a week's time, and whoever has the most birds in the sky, creatures from the sea, will be able to claim the ocean as theirs. So what is the song that they sing to each other? So this is the song that I made up with the words from the story. Some of you may recognize this melody. I didn't make it up. Okay? It goes like this. The ocean is mine. The ocean is mine. Old Frank Sinatra song. The birds in the sky, how we love to fly. The ocean is mine. Now here's the fish. The ocean is mine. The ocean is mine. Oh, we are the fish, and we love to swish. The ocean is mine. And when I perform that story for children, I usually divide up the room, and half the kids are the birds in the sky, and the other half are the creatures from the sea, and they both sing at each other, and they say, wow, did you make up that melody? And I have to say, no. But I borrowed it, and it works really well for that story. Another story that I tell is I'm Jewish, and in my tradition, we have a holiday that's called Purim. And during this holiday, we make these really delicious pastries. They're triangular pastries like this. And the pastries are called Hamantaschen. And the question is, what do you put inside those pastries? Well, the story is about how growing up, the only thing my mother ever put in those pastries was poppy seeds. My family is from Eastern Europe, and poppy seeds are a very popular filling for pastry in Eastern Europe. So my mother said, oh, the only thing you can put in those pastries is poppy seeds. Well, then as I grew up, I learned that in other places in the world, people put different kinds of filling inside of those pastries. So I have a song that repeats throughout the story, each time that I encounter another type of feeling, I sing this song. What do you put in a home in Taschen? What do you put in a home in Taschen? What do you put in a home in Taschen early in the morning? You can put poppy seeds in a home in Taschen. You can put poppy seeds in a home in Taschen. You can put poppy seeds in a home in Taschen early in the morning. Or you can put chocolate chips in a home and Taschen. You can put chocolate chips in a home and Taschen. You got the idea, okay? So that, how many of you recognize that song? Okay, it's the Drunken Sailor song. All right. All right. Eric is wondering, when one sings as the narrator, does one sing about the story or not completely understanding your question. If one sings about the story, usually when I sing as the narrator, I sing as part of the story, and frequently, well, like what do you put in a Homitashen? That is the narrator singing. So I am singing parts of that story. But then other times I might sing a song that is part of the story. I'll give you an example. So, how many of you know the story of the king has a horn on his head? Do you know that story? Sometimes it's about the donkey's ears. So, I play this instrument. Oh, let me find it here. This is a recorder. And in that story, if you know this particular version of the story, the little child goes to the tree, cuts off a branch, and carves a wooden flute. So this is a time that I can actually play music in a story. So I play this tune. And then as the story goes on, the flute begins to sing in human speech. And again, they're very simple words. The words are, the king has a horn on his head, because that's part of the story. So I sing, the king has a horn, the king has a horn, the king has a horn on his head, on his head. The king has a horn, oh, the king has a horn, oh, the king has a horn on his head. Oh, the king has a horn. And in the story, what happens is the flute begins to sing in human speech. All the children who have gathered around the tree, they start singing that song, and then they leave the forest and they begin walking through the town. And as they sing, everyone loves the song and everyone joins in until they are under the king's balcony and they are all singing the song. And if you remember in the story, the king has put a turban on his head because he's so embarrassed about the horn. But when he sees everybody singing about his horn, he realizes that he ought to be singing about it as well. And he takes off the turban and then he sings, I have a horn, I have a horn, I have a horn on my head, on my head. I have a horn, oh, I have a horn, oh, I have a horn on my head. If you have a horn, you might as well sing about it. So that story has a very simple melody. I frequently compose my melodies when I'm in the shower or I'm driving in my car. They're not complicated melodies. So that melody I made up. It wasn't a borrowed melody. It was one that just kind of came to my head. But again, the words are just, the king has a horn on his head. And that's it. Okay? So, okay. So I want to show you an instrument. If you play an instrument that can accompany you, like a guitar or a piano or a harp, these are instruments that you can actually play and sing and even tell stories at the same time. Well, that was not true for me. I play the piano, but it's not my main instrument. My main instrument is actually the saxophone, and I have not figured out how to talk and play the saxophone at the same time. I just don't know how to do that. But I think I mentioned to you that my dear friend Angela passed away last year, and her family gave me her auto harp. So I am learning how to play the auto harp, and if you play an instrument that you can accompany yourself, this auto harp, it was very easy to learn to play. I am no virtuoso on the auto harp. And one of the nice things about it is that it is so easy to play that you just strum it and it already sounds good. So, so this is what the auto harp looks like. And if you're looking for an accompanying instrument, this one is a very simple instrument to play. It is way easier to play than the guitar or the ukulele. I used to play ukulele, but I haven't played since I was in the 4th grade. That's a whole other story. I went to a camp. My mother made me a case for my ukulele out of an old pillowcase, and my bunkmate thought it was my pillow, and she accidentally sat on my ukulele, and I never played after that. That was the end of my ukulele. So this is the auto harp, and it's got a very nice sound. Whoops. Uh-oh. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. You just have to make sure you don't lose any of the finger picks. So I've been playing the auto harp for way less than a year, only a few months. But how many of you know the song Crab's Little Eyes? It's a story from Brazil about the crab who can send out its little eyes and look under the ocean, and then he can bring the eyes back, and he can do that. It's just an amazing thing. And then there is a jaguar who wants to send out his eyes, and he asks the crab if the crab will send his eyes out. And the crab says, "Oh, no, 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 no. I'm afraid if I send your eyes out, the Oompa Loompa fish is going to come and eat your eyes." Now, of course, we know that this is tension in the story, and the crab succumbs to sending out his eyes. And in the end, the Oompa Loompa fish does eat his eyes. But I'm not going to tell you the end of the story because you can look it up. You can find it online. It's called Crab's Little Eyes. But this is a little song that I made up. And so this is, the words in the story are, little eyes, sail on over the deep blue sea. Those are the words from the story. Little eyes, sail on over the deep blue sea. Little eyes, sail on over the deep blue sea. Then little eyes, sail back over the deep blue sea. Little eyes, sail back over the deep blue sea. And this instrument is so easy to play, and it always sounds really nice. Did you like the sound of this instrument? And it's the kind of instrument you can play while you're telling a story. It is that easy to play. So this is an auto harp. Okay, so as I mentioned, I take a few words from the story and I set them to a tune. And sometimes I borrow the tune and sometimes I make up the tune. And the tune can just be a very little ditty of a tune. So there's a story that I tell that comes from my culture. It's a Jewish story. And it's about a grandmother whose name is Yenta Pesha, and she's a gossip. She's always gossiping and telling stories about people, stories that are not true stories, and it makes people feel really bad. And many years ago, I wrote a little song that goes with this story. And I also play the accordion, and not well. It's not my main instrument, enough to be able to sing with this story. But the words for this song are Yenta Pesha, yai, 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 yai. That's it. Yenta Pesha, yai, 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 yai. And in the story, I sing that little song to divide the different sections of the story. So I sing it at the beginning of the story. I sing it after we introduce some of the characters, and every time I talk about Yenta Pesha, I sing Yenta Pesha, yai, 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 yai. That's it. That's the whole song. And because the song is so easy, when I tell this story to kids or to adults, everyone can join in right away because there's only a few words, and that's the kind of songs that I like, are songs that are pretty easy. So at this point, does anyone have a question about songs, about any of the instruments that you've seen? Any questions? Yes, Ramya.
Hi, thank you. So,
So I'm gonna wait. Let me turn off my sound. Okay, there we go. Now you can speak. Go ahead.
yeah, Karen, thank you. First of all, I'm having a great time experiencing this
Awesome.
with you. I think, was that ocarina, I think, the one that you were wearing and the other one. Is it
Yes.
just a difference in size? Is there anything that you'd like to say to that? Because I really loved the instrument and so there are the number of holes is different, or is there anything different in it's just a difference
So
in size?
most ocarinas have either 4 holes or 12 holes. I don't
Okay.
know how to play the 12 hole one, but these
Okay.
are both. This one is a 4 hole one. These ones have 4 holes,
Okay.
and they're all played the same. Oh, actually, I'm
Okay.
looking out in front of me. I have ocarinas coming out of the woodwork in my house. I have ocarinas everywhere. Okay,
Oh,
here we go. Here's an ocarina that is just a single hole ocarina.
okay.
Can you see this one? And
Yes.
this one just sounds like this.
I think now because the music that setting
Oh,
you can turn it on later because now the setting is turned off.
oh, okay, here we
Yeah.
go. All right, so now you mute
Yeah.
yourself and I'll play this one. Here we go. Here we go. This is a 1 hole ocarina, and these are nice little necklaces. My whole family knows how much I love ocarinas, so they're always buying me ocarinas. I have a huge collection of ocarinas, more than any one person should ever have. You can just make a little bird sound with these instruments. Does anyone else have a question about ocarinas or about any of the other instruments that you've seen thus far? Any question? Any questions? Going once, going twice, questions? Okay. So, I thought it would be fun for you and actually, I thought we would go into breakout rooms, but because so many of you are off screen, off camera, I'm afraid that if you end up in a breakout room, you might end up with people who are either driving or doing laundry or maybe even in the bathroom, and they may not go on screen and they may not talk. So we're going to do an activity together unless more of you are able to go on camera, okay? So before we do that though, I thought it might be fun for you to see what I do with my main instrument as a storyteller, because my main instrument is the saxophone. I actually have a band here in Los Angeles. It's the only instrument that I play that I would say it takes a little practice, and I've been playing the saxophone almost my entire life. I think I might have been born with the saxophone because I've been playing it that long. So it's often difficult for me to figure out what characters in a story could play the saxophone so that I can play my instrument. So I'm going to show you my saxophone. And so I'm always looking for stories that have a musician as the part of the storyline. And it doesn't have to be a saxophone player because there aren't very many stories that I've ever found that have a saxophone in them. But it could be another instrument that I adapt for the saxophone. So one of the stories that was my signature story for many years was another Jewish story called The Niggin, and it's a story about a man who goes to the market to buy. He buys 3 things. Oh my goodness! And I just see a very dear friend of mine who happens to know this story, and she just entered the waiting room. So, and Hannah Chusid, and you know this story that I'm talking about right now. So in this story, this character goes to the market to buy things for the Jewish Sabbath and trades everything that they bought for a melody. Now, In the story, there is no saxophone player, but I add a saxophone player so that I can play this melody. So in that story, in the original, there's a singer, but I add a saxophone player so that I can play that melody. How many of you know the story Slaps? It's a Welsh story about a woman who makes dinner and throws her garbage outside the house, and then she discovers there's a wee little person living outside of her house. How many of you know that story? Great. So Mabel knows the story. Anybody else know that story? So in the story, there is no saxophone player, but I wanted to add a saxophone to the story. So in my version of Slaps, when she goes out, throws her, please share the title of the story. The name of the story is Slaps, and it is a Welsh story. So in this story, she throws out her slaps, and then she goes into the house and she starts to play her saxophone. I told you sometimes you have to be creative on how you add a saxophone to a story. So when she comes to play her saxophone, then she asks her whole family to dance and sing with her. So if you would like, you can clap along and dance with the music. So I play this in the story. And I'm just noticing I need to get something. Just 1 second. Okay, that's very important. So in the story, she goes out, she discovers that there is a little tiny neighbor. And the neighbor says, actually, would you like to hear the whole story? Do you want to hear the whole story and how I do the music in it instead of just a demo of part of the story? Okay, is that all right if I tell those? Okay, so I'm gonna, wow, I have all these thumbs up. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the whole story so you can get see an example of how I use music in a story with an instrument that's a bit difficult to figure out how to add it to the storyline. Okay, here we go. Every day, Mother made supper. And she would take out a potato, and I'd love it if you would join me. She would take out a knife. Be careful, don't cut yourself. She would scrape the potato, and she would throw the parts you don't eat into a bucket of slaps like this. Slaps! She would take a carrot, she would scrape it, and she would put the scrapings into a bucket like this. Slaps! And then she would scrape an onion, and she would put it into the bucket like this. Slaps! And then every day she would open the door of her house and she would take 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and she would throw the slaps outside of her house like this. Slosh! Can you do that with me? Slosh! And then she would go into her house. She would put on her saxophone and she would play some music and her family would dance. Next day, potato, slaps, carrot, slaps, onion, slaps, 1, 2, 3, slosh, stop! Who said that? She looked around. She didn't see anyone, so she went into her house and started to play some music. Next day, potato, slaps, carrot, slaps, onion, Slops. 1, 2, 3. Slosh. Stop! Who said that? Me! Look down at your feet! She looked down at her feet, and there was this wee little man looking up at her. And the wee little man had a long white beard. He wasn't very happy. He said, "You're not a very nice neighbor. You throw your slops on my house every day. Look!" "Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. There's potato and carrots and onion all over your house. I'm so sorry." "It's not nice. You should throw your slops in a composter or in the garbage, but not in my house. You know, you play music, and so do I." "Really? Really? 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 I even play the saxophone. Wait!" And the little man went into his house. And he started to play. Next day, potato. Slops, carrot. Slops, onion. Slops, wait. Composter bin. Garbage. Slosh. 1, 2, 3. "Hey neighbor, I was wondering, would you like to play some music with me?" "I would love to. Look how clean my house is. Thank you for being such a good neighbor. Wait!" Ready? Thanks for being such a good neighbor. Thank you for being such a wonderful neighbor. And thank you to all of you for being such wonderful listeners. So that's an example of how I use my saxophone in a story. And you're probably wondering if I can play the little saxophone. And the answer is, I'm too big. If I were really small, I might be able to play it, but I am just plain too big. So that's an example of how I incorporate my saxophone into a story. The original didn't have a saxophone in it, but whenever possible, I try to figure out ways that I can incorporate my main instrument, which is the saxophone. So, oh, you like the little saxophone? Okay. So, I want to show you one other little instrument. So you might think that your nose is only good for breathing and sniffing, blowing and picking, but actually you can play music with your nose. This is another very simple instrument. It's called the nose flute, and it sounds like this. And I play this instrument to just kind of break things up when I'm sharing stories and I need a little break. You know, we need to shift the energy a little bit. Usually everybody gets up. We might dance around and sing. Or if it's an adult audience, then I might say, this is the answer to world peace. If everyone had one of these in their glove box of their car, they could pull it out and play it when there's a lot of traffic. And instead of having road rage and getting really angry, I don't know about you, but in India, is there a lot of traffic? those of you who are in India, is there a lot of traffic on the street? Do you ever get like really frustrated driving? You could just pull out your your nose flute and play along with the classical radio. And I think that people would be much calmer if everyone played the nose flute. So that is another very simple instrument that I play that is a lot of fun. Oh, yes, you can play something with your nose. Yes, the nose flute. So I have now given you a lot of different ideas for how you can use music in a story. So we are going to now brainstorm. And since many of you are not showing your face, that's okay. We're going to brainstorm as a group because we can share ideas. I want you to think about the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. How many of you know that story? Great. I figure most people know. So this story has different characters. We have Mother Bear who is making porridge, or maybe she's making something else. So I'm going to give you, first of all, some ideas of where music might be in this story. And then we're going to brainstorm on what the music might be. So it could be that the bears are in their house because there's a rainstorm. You know, there's a rainstorm happening. It could be that when Mother cooks, she always sings a particular song in the kitchen. And I don't know what that song might be. It could be that the whole family sings together and then they realize that they need to go for a walk, and then they go for a walk. It could be that Goldilocks, when she comes into the house, she's singing something. Maybe there's episodic music that happens between each of the scenes of that story. And it could be that when she goes to goes to try the porridge or goes to sit in the chairs, that there's some song that's going on in her head. So I'm just going to give you some ideas of how I think when I look at a story and I try to figure out how do I add music to the story. These are the thoughts that go through my head. How can I add a sound to the story? Frequently, I will find a story that has to do with something outside and I'll add a bird sound. Maybe there isn't a bird sound in that story, but I want to add a little musical interlude. So I might add that to the story. So maybe there's a little bird. Maybe the little bird is in the woods and the little bird says to Goldilocks, I hear, they're going for a walk. I hear, they're going for a walk. Da 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 da. You know, it could be something like that. Okay, so we are going to brainstorm of how you might add some musical moments to that story. Go! So you can unmute yourself. I'm going to go off of the original sound so that we can hear you, okay? There we go. All right. So Renu.
Yeah. So I would say, like you mentioned that the mother bear is making porridge. She could be singing this song. I'm making porridge, some for you, some for me. Would you like to try some? Would you like to try some? It's nice and sweet, nice and sweet. I'm using a nursery rhyme. So I make songs very often like this on the spot because, there are so many nursery rhymes that we can use.
Yes. Beautiful. Oh, that was wonderful. I love that.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Where could you add music to that story? Do you think, yes, Hannah?
I'm not going to make the sound. I don't have a specific thought of the sound, but I have the image of with the three bowls and the three times they sit in the chair, that each of the bears have their characteristic, maybe just 3 notes or 6 notes that indicate their type of foot walking or just that announce their personage, their character.
Beautiful. Awesome. Great. So we're going to get into some musical interlude having to do with the bears. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Umayel, I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Umayal.
Go ahead.
So when Goldilocks is walking to the bear's house, we can sing like this. It's been a long, long day. I'm so tired. I'm so hungry. There I can see a house. Come on, let's go see if we can find some food.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Anybody else? Could it be that when she's walking to the bear's house, there's some birds that are singing to her, or maybe there's some bears singing to her? Could anybody think of what that song might be? Yes, Rachel.
No, I'm not. I had another idea. I'm not answering that question.
Okay. Okay, what's another idea?
The little bear says, I'm a little bear I'm Henry VIII, I am. I'm a little bear, I am. I'm a little bear. I can't carry the tune, but
Oh, no, 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 it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Keep
and then
going. I love it.
I have a little bowl of, I have a little bed, I have.
I am, let's see, I am the bear, the eighth I am, little bear, I am a little bear, I am, I mean, you gave me a whole idea. I think, Rachel, that might be what I'd like to add to that story in the future. That's really awesome. That's great. Any other songs you can think of? Oh, a lullaby when she finally sleeps. Oh, what might that lullaby be? What could she go to sleep? Any ideas of what the lullaby might be? Any ideas? Millie, you look like you might have an idea.
I don't know. I was thinking if Goldilocks would lie on touch bed. The bed is so soft and nice. My eyes are so heavy and I'm so tired. I think I shall lie down and go to sleep. Something like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I love that. I love that. So we're getting into her character and she's singing a song. Now, whenever I tell that story to children, I always ask, how do you think the story ends? Do you think Goldilocks runs away, or do you think that maybe the little bear says to Goldilocks, you seem really nice, and you're sleeping in my bed. You know, maybe we could be friends. And if they became friends, what song might they sing together? Yes, Renu.
There's an already existing song. The more we get
Okay.
together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. Because your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that's a song that could go right into that story. Actually, it reminds me, this past week, I did a storytelling program at a preschool, and the preschool director said, I'm wondering if you can add the song Skidamarinka-Dinka-Dink into a story. Because the kids just learned, do you know that song? Skidamarinka-Dinka-Dink, Skidamarinka-Dink. Oh, I'll teach it to you. Anyway, how many of you know the story of Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle? Do you know that story? Raise your hand if you know the story of Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle. Okay, so Mr. Wiggle is going to visit Mr. Waggle. So, okay, so we're going to take a little detour from the three bears because I want to show you how you can add a story into an existing song into a story. So, Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle. Mr. Wiggle lives in this house over here, and Mr. Waggle lives in this house over there. And one day, Mr. Wiggle decided to go visit Mr. Waggle, and he opened the door. And he went up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. He went knock, knock, knock. And then I say, what did he say? Knock, 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 knock. Mr. Waggle, are you home? I don't think he's home. Up and down and up and down and up and down and opened the door and went inside. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole story. Mr. Waggle goes to Mr. Wiggle and same thing happens. But then the two of them, they decide to go visit each other at the same time, up and down and up and down and up and down. And when they see each other, Mr. Waggle says, is that you, Mr. Wiggle? Is that you, Mr. Waggle? Yes! You're my friend! Yes, you're my friend! Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. Toot, toot, toot. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. Choo, choo. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening and underneath the moon. There's the moon right there. You see it? Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. I love you. So I added that little song into the story, and the kids loved it. So, what's another song you could add to Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Because Rainu had a song that goes in there, a friendship song. What's another song that could go in there? Okay, I'm thinking of one. How many of you know the song Teddy Bear's Picnic? Do you know that song? Okay, so Teddy Bear's Picnic, it was a really popular song, I think like in the 1940s. And maybe the teddy bears, they went out of the house because if you go into the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. It's beautiful in the woods today, but you get better go in disguise. For every bear that ever there was will gather there for certain because today's the day the teddy bears have their picnic. Ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba 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 bum. And so the parts that the kids sing are, or adults, I happen to really like the song, so it could be adults. Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum ba 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 bum. Yeah, bum. Anyway, so maybe they went to the teddy bear's picnic. Okay, so Rachel, you have another idea.
Yeah, when Mr. Wiggle goes to see Mr. Waggle, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Mr.
Great.
Wiggle? You know the rest of it. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful, Rachel. Wonderful idea. I love that. Okay, any other ideas for the three bears? Okay,
Mummy, that
so I'm going to
I
leave
love
you
you, you
this.
love me.
Oh, go ahead.
But from Barney and Friends. I love you, you love me. We are a happy family with a great big and a kiss from you to me. Won't you love me? Something I forgot the last line.
Beautiful. So you can see that a story can have a song that kids might already know in the middle of the story. And if they already know it, it's so exciting that the characters start singing it. Um, so I'm going to leave you the story of the three bears as homework. Okay, so this is your big homework assignment to figure out ways of adding more music to that story. So I'm going to give you another example of a story. The story of the little snow girl. It's a Russian story. How many of you know that story? The Daughter of the Snow, the little snow maiden. Anyone know that story? It's a Russian story about the old man and the old woman who go into the forest, and it's the winter, and they make a little snow girl, and the girl comes to life, and she becomes their snow daughter, and they bring her back to their home, and they're so happy that they have a snow daughter. Of course, she lives outside, so she won't melt when she's inside the house. But I made up a little song that goes in that story. And again, it's just a few words, and the song goes like this. I am a daughter of the snow. I love to sing. I love to dance. I am a daughter of the snow. I love to sing and dance. Oh, I am a daughter of the snow. So, okay, I'm going to move on from that part of the story because I want to show you how I use the ocarina in that story. So what ends up happening is they love her so much. She plays with the children in the village and everybody loves her, but one day she doesn't come home. She doesn't come home because, oop, I better turn on original sound. Let me go here. Okay. Can you hear this? Yes? You can hear it? Nope. Okay. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So, what is this the sound of? The sun, the sun. The sun is shining. And the sun is shining because it is springtime. And the little snow girl has walked into the woods. And the mama and the papa, they walk into the woods and they say, "Where is our snow daughter?" And a little bird begins to sing. And the little bird says, "Over there, over there." And she follows a path deeper and into the woods. And then she finds a bigger bird and she says to the bird, "Where is my little snow daughter?" "Over there, over there, over there." And she keeps following the birds deeper into the forest. And it's then that she understands that the spring has come and the sun is shining and the little snow girl has melted. And the mama and the papa are so sad because their little snow daughter is gone. But then they hear the sound of the wind. And the wind says, "Do not worry. When I blow again in winter and there is a chill in the air, I will come back to you." And that's how I use a variety of instruments to make a musical tapestry in that story of the feelings of the woods, the feeling of the birds and the animals. It's a beautiful story. Look it up, The Little Snow Girl. There's lots of different versions of the story, but it really lends itself to having a lot of bird sounds and wind and other kinds of sounds that you can make with really simple instruments. So are there any questions? Oh, Mommy Bear. Oh, okay. I see in the chat. Yes, the "I Love You" song from Barney and Friends. Wonderful. So are there any questions? Any questions or any comments anyone would like to share? How might you use some of these ideas with stories that you are telling now? How might you add some music to your stories?
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much. It's so lovely. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
wasn't in the camera, maybe not for most of the time, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, where I'm going to use your ideas. So, I was just thinking that Little Three Bears, I haven't used that story, so I will use that story. Plus, in the mythology, it's called the Ramayana story, where the Rama in the Indian mythology, there's a beautiful story which also talks about the value systems. The Rama is searching Sita. So now that you just spoke about the snow girl, like that, how Ram is trying to find the Sita on the way, whoever is to meet, maybe I can make the music and then make that feel of it. So I was just thinking about that one particular incident. So that to make it story. So I'm going to write that story and going to bring back to you as my
Beautiful.
sharing the story. Thank you. I'm going to write back to you, and you can use it. Like a beautiful way you want to, you can add your own characters and you can use it. I will go to write it and send it to you. That's
Oh,
my.
I would love to hear. I would love to hear what you do with that story. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So anyone else would like to share how you might use music in your stories?
Yes, Karen, I have a whole lot of instruments, the same thing that you have, most of them at least. I'm planning to use them more often. I do use them, but actually the thunder drum that I have is very different. It's a longish tube-like thing with the same spring. And then for the rain, we have a rain stick, but I think it's a very good idea to use those little shells. I do have that as well. So I think I'll use that. And yes, I do play the harmonica. I sing simple songs and ask the children to guess the song, and then we all sing together. So I think I can add a lot more music in my stories. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Beautiful.
I loved it.
So thank you. So Renna, you asked the story. It's called Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink. It's called Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink. Let me see if I can find. Um, hmm,
Please write it in the
um,
Skidamarink
chat,
Dink
Karen.
is very popular with little kids.
yes, you can find it. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink. You'll find a lot of versions of that one,
Could you
of
please
that
write
story.
that in the chat?
So,
Could you
the
please write that?
Skidamadink, uh, dink, dink, dink. I think that's it. Skidamadinka-dinka-dink. I think that's it. Skidamarinka-doo. So it's a very silly song, but it's a lot of fun. So whenever I travel, I'm sort of obsessed with musical instruments, and I travel all over the world. I would love to come to India. That is a place I would love to
Please
travel.
come. Please come.
Um, I would so please put the word out that I make it to India someday. But I have traveled to many countries to tell stories to mainly to kids in international schools. So wherever I travel, I love to collect musical instruments. So this instrument here that you saw, the one that comes from Argentina that's made out of a gourd. One of the things that I love is gardening. And during the pandemic, I developed an entire online program about things that grow in my garden, stories about my garden. I have a beautiful garden at my home, and I was growing things like squash and other things, and I would talk about my garden. So this instrument comes from a squash. And this instrument is from China, and it is made out of the same squash, but it sounds very different. So this is an instrument that I've learned how to play on YouTube. And I can tell you that I learned how to play the auto harp on YouTube, and I've learned how to play. This instrument is called a hulus, and it's from China, and it's amazing what you can learn on YouTube. So I'm going to play this for you. Let me put my original sound on. So this instrument, I play this instrument when I'm doing a show and I want the audience, for either kids or adults, I want to give the audience a chance to contemplate or to think or to just be inspired and to be introspective. So this is the sound for me that is an introspective sound. And I can tell you now that this instrument is not difficult to play. It's no more difficult than playing the ocarina. Now, I don't play it well. So if I were to become a virtuoso on it, then it would be hard to play. But as well as I play it, you can learn on YouTube. So this is the way it sounds. So, if you would like to write in the chat how this instrument made you feel, that would be helpful. Oh, and you asked, the name of this instrument is it's spelled like that, but it's called a hulus. And if you know how to play this instrument here, which is the recorder, the fingering on that instrument is the same. It's exactly the same. So if you play this, it's the same fingering on that. Okay. So relaxing. So yeah. So entranced, folksy. Yes. So this is an instrument that I play to give um, a feeling of introspection. I play this instrument. I tell a folk tale called The Princess in the Mirror, and it's the story of three brothers who all fall in love with a princess, and she says she wants them each to bring her a gift, and he who brings her the most a genuine gift, she will agree to marry. So when they each go out into the world to try to find her that gift, they're trying to find something that is deeply meaningful. And I play that music between each segment of the story as I introduce the gift of each brother. So it's that kind of, like Hannah said, it's like falling asleep, entranced kind of music. Yes, it sounds like the instrument used by snake charmers. It's got that drone, kind of like a bagpipe. It's the same idea, the drone sound. So that's it's again, it's not a difficult instrument to play, and every time I take it out, people go, "Wow, that's so fancy," and it really it sounds fancy, but it's not hard to play. So, any other comments about stories that you might? Oh, and also let me put my I'll put my contact detail here. So there's my email. And that's my website. So you can stay in touch with me. I would love that. So, who else would like to share how they are going to add music to stories? Any other thoughts? Any other questions?
Whoops.
I have a question. Uh, how do you take up sessions for adolescent age group using music or instruments? Do you have any small idea about it?
Say that in the beginning. You bleeped out. What was the beginning of your question?
Okay, so the younger children and the general audience, okay, but what if we have to address the adolescents, the
Oh,
teenage
adolescents,
segment?
adolescents.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So I actually use these same instruments for all ages, including adolescents. So there is a story that I tell. It's called, it's a story I tell to adolescents. It's called Searching for Truth. And it's the story about a man who is trying to find truth in the world. And it's how many do you know the story? Does anyone know that? It's called The Search for Truth. Hannah, you know the story. So the man is looking for truth and he comes to a mountain, and on the mountain he finds a woman inside of a cave. And so I'm not going to give away the story, but I use this instrument. Where's my, oh, here we go. This instrument focuses every age of audience. Adolescents, teenagers are enthralled with this. I mean, there is nothing better to quiet an audience than to give them thunder. So when the man finds the old woman in the cave, he can tell from the lyrical quality of her voice. Oh, I think I just turned off. I don't think you can hear this. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Lady Truth. So I use this instrument. All the instruments that you've seen me play, I use them for adolescents as well. There is nothing proprietary about music when it comes to age. So the kids and teenagers are just as excited to hear a unique sound. And I use my Halusi, the one that I showed you, the Hulus. I use that. Adolescents love that. So I also have a really large singing bowl, a quartz crystal bowl that I sometimes use with older audiences. It's one of those big white ones. It's hard to transport because it's a real big one, but it's got a real deep like whoa like that. And I use that in certain stories that I tell. So, and I play my saxophone. I actually tell a story about a saxophone player that I met. It's a very short story. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear another saxophone story? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So this is a story that I only tell to adolescents. I don't tell this one to young kids. I tell this one to, this is an adolescent only story. So it starts when I was an adolescent. Okay, so this will give you an example of how I use music in a personal story. So when I was in high school, I played the saxophone in a band, and I was invited to play in a jazz band from my entire state. I'm from the state of Michigan. If you look at a map of the United States, the state in the middle that looks like a hand, that is my home state. And I come from right here, a place called Flint, Michigan. That's where I was born. So there's Great Lakes all around here, and that's my home. So I played in a band, and I was invited to play in this honors band. And the man who was conducting the band was a famous jazz musician. His name was Dizzy Gillespie. Now, if you don't know anything about Dizzy Gillespie, he was one of the greatest jazz musicians to ever live. He played the trumpet and used to blow his cheeks out really big. So I was playing in the band. I was the only girl, and so I kind of stuck out. And he called me over to him, and he looked down at me, and he said, "Hey, baby." He said, "Whatever you do, don't give up your music, because your music will bring you joy." And then he bent over and he kissed me on the cheek. I got kissed by Dizzy Gillespie. And then he taught us one of his most famous songs. It's called Salt Peanuts. Some of you may know it. It goes like this. And then the whole audience goes like this. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Since we can't all hear each other, I need to just see you doing the salt peanuts. Okay, here we go. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Dizzy Gillespie kissed me. When I went home that day, I put a Band-Aid on my cheek because I didn't want to wash off the kiss. And I wanted everyone to ask me, "Why do you have a Band-Aid on your cheek?" And I could say, because I got kissed by Dizzy Gillespie. Do you know who Dizzy Gillespie was? He was a really famous jazz musician. And when that Band-Aid wore out, I put on another one. This is a true story. And I wore a Band-Aid on my cheek for about 6 months, just so people would ask me, "Why do you have that Band-Aid on your cheek?" And I could say, "Because I got kissed by Dizzy Gillespie." And I've never forgotten what he said to me. He said, "Baby, whatever you do, don't give up your music, 'cause your music will bring you joy." And you know what? He was right. I've never given up my music. And I hope that this little bit of music has brought all of you some joy as well. And I hope that you will consider from now on thinking about how you can add something musical to your stories. You don't need to be a famous musician to be musical. You can add a little song, you can add a little instrument, add a little ditty, add some magic, because when you add music to your stories, they become even more magical. Ooh, I better turn on. Ooh, I have the original sound still on. Okay, here we go. So, any final questions?
There's a major tradition. Oh, I think you have to turn off your special system.
I'm turning it off. Here we go.
There's
There we go.
a major tradition here in India of story and song. Not instruments so much always, but the storyteller will break into song and go back and forth between talking and singing. So that's a very popular and ancient tradition in
So Eric, I
storytelling.
want to tell you that the first time I heard that was at your festival
Hmm.
in 2020 online.
Hmm.
That was when I met you. I was on that festival. I was even on in the middle of the night. I was probably on for 15 hours listening. And
Hmm.
I didn't know there were so many amazing storytellers in India. And
Hmm.
I listened for hours and hours. I even made Indian food. I was really ambitious because I wanted to feel like I was in India. And I want to thank you, Eric, for bringing the world together the way that you do, because you are really awesome in that we can all celebrate the beauty of storytelling because of your wonderful festival. And I am so proud to be part of it. And I just want to thank you before everybody leaves. Thank you in particular for keeping this dream alive. I really appreciate it. And that was where I learned about the beautiful songs and stories from India because I listened to your festival for hours and I was enthralled.
Thank you so much. Yes, well, I studied storytelling, especially with Laura Sims in New York. And then when I shifted to India, I just kind of dragged a lot of people with me virtually.
Well, Eric, Laura Sims was also my first storytelling teacher in 1988.
Mm, mm,
So we have that in common.
hmm did someone say they wanted to show some instruments? I thought I saw a message.
Yes, Eric.
Go ahead.
Can you
Great.
see me?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, we can hear you.
Can you see me?
Who is speaking? Anusha?
Yeah.
Yeah, here,
Oh, let's see what
Anusha.
you have.
let me spotlight you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi. This is something
Hi.
which I picked up from Delhi. Hi. This is something which I picked up from Delhi, and this has different sounds and musics, and I use it in my school, and the kids love it. I was so excited using it, so I thought I'll show it to you. I loved your passion,
Oh,
so I just thought I'll show it to you. So it makes nice sound.
Oh, the sound's not coming through.
Anusha, you
you
have to put
have
on
to.
the original sound for musicians on. Only then we can hear it.
What do I do? I don't
Go to the
understand.
audio.
On
Go
the
to the
bottom left corner of your screen, there's a little microphone symbol, and next to that there's an upward arrow symbol. If you
Yeah,
click on
yeah.
the upward arrow, the bottom line is audio settings,
Okay.
and if you go to audio settings, where can she choose the original sound?
Mm, I'm sorry to disturb the meeting. I'm really
Under
That's
sorry.
audio
okay.
settings, it says original sound for musicians. It's under microphone modes. It's the fourth or the third category, original sound for
Uh,
musicians.
um, audio settings, yeah. Original
Yep,
sound from musicians, yeah. Okay, got
yep,
it.
that's it.
Yeah. Now can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
again.
So this each thing makes a different sound. So I found it very interesting. So this was a very nice sound, and I had this also. This was also very like somebody chasing means I use this sound in my storytelling. So this instrument also I found different. I wanted to show you these two. That's all.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Really beautiful.
Very good. Okay, well, Karen, thank you so much. That was so kind and generous of you to share all of this.
My pleasure. I had so much fun with all of you. You have my email. If you have any questions about where these instruments might come from, what they're called, just please feel free to email me and I'll tell you at least where I got them. Some of you are not in the United States, so I don't know where you might buy these instruments in India, but I can at least tell you the name of what they're called so you can search them out.
Great. Okay, I'll stop the
Thank you,
recording.
Eric.
Thank you.